And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, avoid commission-based advice, and help you live a better life, as we say here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win in any marketplace. And when we say any marketplace, we're talking about 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice here on the show. And we have over 50 show partners bringing on CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, solar companies, self-defense, health and nutrition, all types of areas so that we can help you live a better life. And we want to engage with you. And we've had an uptick in calls lately. So we appreciate all of those who are reaching out and giving us a call and letting us know what they think about the show, or even posing questions here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our Consumer Advocate hotline. You can call or text that line with any questions, comments you have. Also, check out the website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, and we want to help you win in any marketplace. In studio today, we got attorney Joe Pippen. Welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. Awesome. And you've got your own show as well, and multiple networks, multiple places. Almost how many years running now, Joe?
35. I think it's the longest running continual show in Florida. Started in 1984. Go in, format's the same. I go in and sit down behind a microphone like we both doing right now and just give out the phone numbers and people call in. It's a live show where I just answer legal questions.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So congratulations for the longevity. That's super cool. And we're going to talk mostly about estate planning, some of those types of, as we kind of say, the documents that you can't live or die without, right? You shouldn't die without.
Absolutely. If you don't do planning, guess what? Guess who does it for you? The state of Florida.
And it's not it's not a pretty plan, is it?
Well, it's not horribly bad, but it's not what you would want. I mean, You can always do better. And you work your whole life. You and I are still working hard, and we're accumulating assets. And you can't take them with you, so you have to do something with them, and it's better for you to plan it than the state of Florida to plan it for you.
That's right. Yeah. So we're talking about estate plans, living trust, healthcare surrogates, prenuptial, postnuptial agreements, homestead issues with real estate. We're going to cover a lot here on the show. Some of that has an impact on your taxes as well, how that can impact your taxes. Also, trust. A lot of people have questions on trust and how they can keep their assets somewhat private from other people seeing it, other creditors in some cases seeing it. So we've got a wealth of information here today coming for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show with attorney Joe Pippen, estate planning attorney here in studio. And this segment is brought to you by Taps Restaurant. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Taps Restaurant right here in Tampa over at the International Plaza on Bay Street. They've got a beautiful restaurant, outdoor patio seating available. Your dogs are welcome. You also have a great ambiance, very friendly staff, and excellent food. The food is very good, and we love going over to lunch and dinner over there at Taps Restaurant. Plus, you want to save the date. On Wednesday, March 25th, we're hosting Tampa Bay's best speed networking event. So if you're a business owner, salesman or woman, you want to be at this event. This is going to be over 100 people there. We're going to introduce you to some great business folks in the community. A lot of our radio and TV show partners will be there, real estate folks, and all types of great folks going to be there on Wednesday, March 25th. Tickets are available on eventbrite.com. Now, if you go to eventbrite.com, you can buy the tickets there, and it's going to be a great time. Come out and do speed networking. A lot of people say, well, what is speed networking, Brandon? I don't know what it is. Well, you're going to have 3 minutes to talk to the person, and then you're going to switch. So every 3 minutes. Also, DJ Yahoo's going to keep the energy up for us. He's going to be there spinning and have some awesome ambiance music playing in the background and kind of helping us with that show. So Taps Restaurant.
You could call that a speed business date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's the relationship that you are looking for in business, right? So for realtors, they look for estate planning, probate attorneys to market with, divorce attorneys. So think about that from your business perspective. What line of business you're in, who's that perfect referral for you? Chances are you might meet someone there that is in that business or that position to refer business for many, many years down the line, Joe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people can do that. So come on out Wednesday, March 25th. We'll see you there. And as you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife and I own and operate a top 1% real estate team in the area. Actually came in number 1 for the office this past month. So if you look up top left, Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes there, top agents out of an office that has 489 agents. In the office as well, we're the number 1 producing office in the entire real estate board. We did $660 million as an office. So over $500 million closed and sold from our office there. So we'd love to help you buying, selling, or investing. We also make cash offers. We've got Keller offers now. So if you're looking to get a quick cash offer on your property, we can help you with that as well. So check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com if you have any interest in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And I wanted to let you know about a couple of hot listings, a couple of great opportunities here. 0 Alternate 19, also known as 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. This is a vacant lot, and if you look at this lot, the way it's situated, it's right off of the Alternate 19, 0 Alternate 19 in Palm Harbor, and it's an opportunity to build your dream office or business right in the heart of Palm Harbor, commercial site. Now, the big kicker here is the impact fees have been paid. So the impact fees have been paid. You've got architectural plans that are going to be also included with this sale, and the price has dropped down to $199. So if you're renting and leasing a building, buy this land, build your dream business, and right there in Palm Harbor, one of the greatest places to live on planet Earth, right here in Tampa Bay. Hot listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, let's jump into it, Joe. So we got estate planning attorney Joe Pippen in the house. I always like to bring up some of the most famous people that have died intestate, meaning without those documents in place, like Prince, James Gandolfini, a.k.a. Tony Soprano. Who else? Michael Jackson, wasn't he on that list? I mean, lots of money being left.
Well, Prince died, and Channel 13 television decided they wanted to do a story on that. So they came up to my office and interviewed a short story about what happens when you die without a will.
Oh, wow.
And he certainly died without a will. Aretha Franklin died without a will, too. I mean, a lot of people just don't plan. They don't think about dying. They think they're going to be here forever, or they can put it off just a little bit longer. Yep. And a lot of people just don't get that far. Something unexpectedly happens to them, right, and they die, and then their family's in a bad way, really. Yeah, exactly. You're putting your family in a bad position. And why do you think that is, Joe? Is it just the kind of the awkward thing to bring up at the dinner table is, hey, let's talk to mom about when she dies? It's just kind of an awkward situation to talk about, right? Yeah, and most parents don't bring it up, and most children don't want to hear about it, but you don't have to really talk to your children about it. In fact, I tell my clients most of the time, they ask, well, should I give a copy of these documents to my children? I said, no, I wouldn't, because you might make changes along the way, and then you're going to feel like you have to give them copies of the changes, and then you're going to have a lot of discussion about why you did that and so forth. So just tell them, do something, do your will or trust, tell them where the papers are located and how to get to the papers if anything happens to you. Yeah. It's really that simple. Just having a plan in place is going to save a lot of money, because the default plan is going into what they call probate. Would you mind explaining what the probate process is? Well, if you have a will or don't have a will, if you have a will, you have a statutory will, because the state of Florida makes one for you. If you have a will, so it's either a statutory will or a will you sign, then when you die with your real estate, for example, in your name. And the only way now that real estate can be sold or transferred is for someone to be appointed the personal representative of the estate. And you have to go through a probate attorney to make that happen, to get that done. And you have to advertise in the paper, so there's no privacy there. And you have to be appointed by the judge to have the authority to sell the real estate. So that whole process is probate. Probate is it comes from a Latin word to prove. So you have to prove that's the last will. You have to open the estate for claims. You have to open the estate for creditors to be able to file claims against the estate and so forth. And it's a long, drawn-out process. The normal fees in probate are 3 to 6% for the attorney, and there are costs involved, court costs. That's not much. It's $600-700, which is not much compared to 3 to 6%. But it's a long, drawn-out process. It's going to last up to a year. And people planning their estates have an alternative, and that's a living trust, which is just a fancy will. And why does a living trust avoid probate? Because the words of the document, living, the trust is living when you die.
Mm.
And now a successor trustee that's named in the document can move in, step in, take over, and distribute the estate according to your instructions,
right? Without
probate, without a court being involved in the whole process.
Yeah, and that's such an important decision to make, and otherwise it's going to be made for you. When you look at a living trust, so that can change. It's not something that's in writing forever unless you do pass away.
You can amend the trust anytime.
Right. So you go in and make the changes as lifetime, you remarry or whatever the situation is.
I had a lady come into my office this morning for amendment number 7.
Wow.
I mean, she's been there 7
yeah.
times to change something. And there's no one listening out there that belongs to a perfect family or is in a perfect family. So
right.
The examples I like to give, if you don't do any estate planning, and let's say you die with 3 children, and those 3 children by the statutory would receive the estate. But guess what? Suppose one of those has an addiction. Now they're going to get a third of the estate outright. And what have you done? You've just enabled the addiction. You've made their life worse. They're going to blow through all this money, and they're going to feel even worse at the end of the day when it's all gone and their addiction was the cause of it. And suppose you have a family member that just can't save money. I mean, they're going to get a couple $100,000 inheritance. They're going to go out and buy a new sports car, or buy drinks for everybody at the bar for a year, or they're going to waste it.
Yeah,
basically. So what have you done? So you can do estate planning. You can do clauses in a trust to deal with addiction. You give them a monthly amount, but it's subject to random and mandatory testing. A spendthrift, you can just stretch it out for 10 or 20 years, so they get a little bit for a long time. And suppose you have a special needs child, and you give them money, and they're on government benefits. Guess what? They lose their benefits.
Wow.
So with a special needs trust, you can have money go out so they don't lose any government benefits and have extra money for their support.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a lot of special things you can do in estate planning that doesn't happen when you do nothing, because in the state of Florida just has random statutes that take care of things for you.
Yeah, we're talking with attorney Joe Pippen here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, a wealth of knowledge. He's got his own radio and TV show as well on many different networks. 860 The Answer, Saturday mornings on right here on this station, 860 The Answer. And you also have over 50,000. I remember I asked you one time, how many have you?
52,000 now.
52,000 estate plans that you've done over your career.
Yep.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And we we increase that every day. I mean, we love to accept new clients, and we take care of our old clients. We send out letters every 3 or 4 years to for a previous client, I should say. I shouldn't say old client.
Yep.
For a previous client to come in and update their documents, because things change. Power of attorneys need to be updated. Healthcare surrogates need to be updated to have current dates, and a lot of times they have changes they want to make.
Interesting. Good stuff. So more from attorney Joe Pippen here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the estate planning process, things happening, a little bit about healthcare as well, because we had that big story years ago. It was the Terry Schiavo. What happens if you're in an accident? Are you stuck in the bed? Your family's fighting over what they want to do. Pull the plug? No, keep them alive. Let's talk about that and some of the things that you want to consider when you come to that and your estate plan. And we also have a feel good story of the day coming up, as we do every day. Students act of kindness for their math teacher gets the Yankees' attention. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
62, who knew? I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62, who knew?
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember
To be
be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your super connector, we want to introduce you to our 50+ show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Back in studio, we got attorney Joe Pippen here in studio with us. We're going to talk about estate planning, healthcare surrogates, and some of those things as well. Coming up just here in a moment, I want to give a big shout out to our friends over at Golf Cart Depot. If you are looking for a golf cart or know someone who is, I highly recommend Marty and his team over at Golf Cart Depot. They do a great job with their inventory. They've got new and used or pre-owned golf carts available. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, and other brands available. They've got 2 locations, a Tampa location and a Clearwater location right off of US 19 in Clearwater. And they are in Land O'Lakes as well. Golf Cart Depot. Check them out online and give them a call. Let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you and take them up on the special offers and incentives they have for our radio and TV show listeners here and viewers of our show. And we've also got hooked up with the Keller Williams Red. We're going out there. We're getting a wrap done on that, and we're going out and door knocking. So you can use it for commercial use or even just personal use around your home or neighborhood. And love getting out on our golf cart and enjoying this beautiful weather, especially this time of year. And I got my door knocking buddy there, Carter, with me on the cart. But if you're watching our TV show version, by the way, you can see us on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku as well. Our syndicated program on multiple networks, 85 plus networks here with the Consumer Quarterback Show. And of course, daily 4 o'clock drive time right here on AM 860, The Answer. We got a weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone as well, Sunday mornings. All right. So a couple of hot listings for this segment. We just had a price improvement on this property. If you're looking for a condo over in Clearwater, here's a great opportunity at 2689 Sable Springs Circle, Unit 105. This is waterfront, and it's a ground level unit. 2689 Sable Springs Circle, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and it's right on the corner as well. So you've got a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay, close to the mall, and it's windows on all 3 sides, on 3 sides of the property. That is, check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, let's jump back into it, Joe. So we got attorney Joe Pippen in the house. He is a local attorney with offices statewide. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, we have 14 offices around the state, several in Pinellas, several in Hillsborough, several in Pasco, Claremont, Leesburg, the Villages, and over in Jacksonville area, and also in the Trinity area.
Very cool, man. So you putting some miles on your vehicle?
Well, I don't go to all those offices. I go to 4 of those offices every week, and I have other attorneys that do the other offices.
Nice. I was going to recommend Captain Will Smith if you ever want to jet set, fly up there.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
He does a great job with us as a consumer advocate on the show, and we bring him on the show multiple years. Now he's one of our original show partners back like 6+ years ago. But anytime anything happens in aviation, we bring him in. So, okay, so we got attorney Joe Pippen here. Let's talk about the healthcare side. You're in a bad accident. You're laid up in the hospital. Months can go by. You're in a coma. You're in and out. How does that apply to estate planning?
Well, everyone can do what's called a healthcare surrogate document. So what it is basically a power of attorney for healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And someone that you know and trust can make your healthcare decisions for you when you're not able to. Now, if you don't do that, you've just set yourself up to be declared incompetent and dragged through a guardianship court.
Mm.
Now, who wants to be declared incompetent and have someone appointed by the court to make your healthcare decisions?
Right.
And you can easily do that with a very inexpensive document, and we charge like $150 for a power of attorney healthcare surrogate.
Wow.
And you can have someone to make all your financial decisions and all your healthcare decisions for you at a time where you can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it yourself, guess what? You get declared incompetent so somebody can do it, has the legal authority to do it for you.
Wow. So what's that look like? Is there a court proceeding that happens and then somebody...
Oh, a guardianship process is very expensive, and it's an ongoing expense. So you're paying someone. If you don't do it, then the court appoints someone, and you're paying that person, and you're paying a lot of money. You're paying $4,000 or $5,000 to get one started.
Wow.
Through the courts.
Wow.
2 doctors come out to interview the person, and then they determine if the person is incompetent, unable to manage their own affairs.
Mm.
And then they file a report with the court, and the court takes action. And now a family member can come into the court and petition for themselves to be appointed the guardian. But at the end of the day, the judge gets to make the decision what would be in the best interest of the incompetent person and who should be their guardian.
Yeah, it's an interesting part of the process, the life and death process. The Terry Schiavo estate, that was like 15, 20 years ago, I think. That was in the papers, that was in the news, but that was a sad situation. She was on a feeding tube, if I recall. Joe, do you remember somewhat happened with that?
Terry Schiavo didn't have a document. Now, she could have had a healthcare surrogate, and she could have had a living will. Now, a living will is a different document that says if you're terminal, vegetative, unconscious, end stage, that you choose not to be artificially prolonged in that state. So basically, if 2 doctors determine you've reached that stage, they can disconnect and you can die a natural death. Mm-hmm. That's the way I want to go. I don't want to be artificially. I mean, if I was laying there,
right,
vegetative, terminal, unconscious, end stage, and my wife's going to have to feel like she has to come visit me every day, and I won't even recognize her or be able to talk to her.
Exactly.
Or appreciate her being there.
Yep.
So I want to be disconnected and I want to move on.
Yep.
I know where I'm going, so, it's a better place, and don't fear death at all. But you got to have that document for that to happen. Otherwise,
right,
they say a lot of places, doctors and medical peoples and hospitals, as long as you have insurance money, they're interested in keeping you alive.
Exactly. So that's the other side of the equation. Where does money come in? Where does greed play out?
Yeah, and if you have a living will and 2 doctors determine that you're in that stage, then you get disconnected. Now, if the person that's your healthcare surrogate disagrees with the doctor's opinions, they have the power to terminate those doctors and get 2 more doctors. Two more doctors come in and say, hey, you're terminal, vegetative, unconscious, end stage, it's time to disconnect him. So you do have an advocate in healthcare, even though you do sign a living will.
Yeah, and that's important because if not, I think in that case it was like a sibling fighting, and the wife.
Oh, the husband.
Is that what it was? The fighting who?
The husband wanted her disconnected.
Yes.
And the parents wanted to keep her going.
Right.
And she didn't have a document. And there was some question as to whether when the mother came in and held her hand, she would smile or respond to it.
Mm.
And they tried to use that as that she wasn't in this vegetative terminal stage.
Right.
It was a big mess. Now,
yeah,
when she died and they did an autopsy on her brain, it was about 1/3 of the size of a normal brain.
Mm.
So she, I don't think she was any chance that she really had any. She was in a terminal vegetative state,
right,
pretty much, and she could respond to light and maybe to a voice, but that was about it. But,
and that's when you're in that position, I think most people would agree. Probably the overwhelming majority would say, "Hey, yeah, let me go ahead and pass. I don't want to do that to my family, my loved ones. Think about the medical bills you're racking up in that state. You're not going to have a quality of life, anyways. From that point."
A living will does not give a doctor or a hospital or a medical facility the right to take a life. There's a little misconception. People don't understand that, well, I don't want them killing me, basically.
Right.
They don't have the right to do that. They have the right just to disconnect equipment that would artificially maintain you.
Right.
That's the purpose of a living will.
Yeah, because that was the flip side as well. Wasn't there a Dr. Kevorkian or something along those ways? People that wanted out, they wanted out. They didn't.
Dr. K.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Special K. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Attorney Joe Pippen here in studio. And if you want more information about an estate plan, we always have these call to actions during our show. Just text the word estate plan or give us a quick call to our hotline, 813-670-7372. And it's a free consultation. Attorney Joe Pippen.
Yeah, we also have a poster sheet we'd be glad to send them. It's a full-size poster sheet telling you all about the 3 options in estate planning and the choices, and there's a picture of it on your screen there.
Nice.
But it's a double-sided sheet. We'd be glad to mail that to anyone that's interested, and they can get it one of 3 ways. They can call our toll-free office number, 1-800-226-3529. That's 1-800-226-3529. Go to extension 200. They can email me, Joe, Joe, at attypip.com. That's Joe at attypip.com. Or they can text me at 727-667-3967.
727-667-3967. That's the direct text. Give Joe a text there.
I just need the name and address.
A lot of information there. So that's great information. You've got a consumer advocate that's ready to help you with those decisions. And, there's no better time than now to get these things done, get it out of the way, and have that conversation with your family. And it's something that's very important. It's going to save you a lot of time, effort, and energy, and along the process. So stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got more from Attorney Joe Pippen here in studio. We're going to talk about some interesting tax laws that have changed as well. There's some really cool things affecting business owners, homeowners as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And our feel-good story of the day: students' act of kindness for their math teacher gets the Yankees' attention. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the short timeout.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it's Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember. Ask me about
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for
Backles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your super connector, we want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. Got a hot property at 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O' Lakes. This is a builder developer's dream. Perfect opportunity. You got 8 units, 5 of which are right on the waterfront at Bell Lake. It's a 90-acre ski lake in Land O' Lakes, so the north part of Tampa here. Great development opportunity. About $1 million asking price from the owner at 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O' Lakes. And if you see the beautiful photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks, check out our drone shots right there. And right across the way, we have another half-acre lot available on Cox Drive. It's on Cox Drive. It's $270,000. There's your other property parcel available from the Platinum MVP team. Build your dream home on this beautiful property. No HOA or CDD, and it's right here in Tampa Bay, Land O' Lakes, 4207 Cox Drive, Land O' Lakes. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. And this segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort on Gulf Boulevard and Treasure Island. And I love going to have a quick vacation down there, local staycation as we call it. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Restaurant and Beach Bar right there on site as well. And you've got the walkability of Treasure Island, lots of cool things to do in the area. And a beautiful beach, of course, right there at the Bilmar Beach Resort. Book directly. Let Clyde Smith, he's the general manager, let him know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're back here in studio. We got attorney Joe Pippen in the house, and we're talking about. Yes, sir.
I heard you say fish and ski.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely recommend you have a will if you go ski where there might be an alligator close by.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, you never know. Yeah, sharks and alligators.
I used to have a fish and ski boat, and we used to Lake Hatchenhall over in Polk, and we used to go out to the middle of the lake before we dropped the skis. So we don't want to ski close to the shoreline.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they hang out, on the shorelines. And especially a lot of those people that go out and do the fishing, or what do they call it, spear fishing underwater. Because those fish, when you snare them, you spear them, they start shaking and the blood's in the water. I've heard of some interesting situations come up there.
Oh yeah, and you put them in your little bag,
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're just walking.
Have a trail of blood.
Exactly. Yeah, just swimming around with a trail of blood where there's sharks and barracuda even too could attack you. But we're talking with attorney Joe Pippen here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's one of our expert contributors, legal analyst on the show here, and we're talking about estate planning. And part of that is, tax implications as well and how that flows. So since we're on the Consumer Quarterback Show, aka the Real Estate Quarterback Show, let's talk about homestead issues and how folks, I think the number one thing they want to know is how can I limit my tax exposure? How can I limit the creditor's access? And in the state of Florida, we are protected from a homestead exemption, correct?
Yeah, so homestead is a protected property against creditors. So, of course, if you have a mortgage, that's a creditor that can take action. But if you get a credit card charge or a late payment somewhere else, or you owe money or have an accident, they can't take your homestead. It's a protected asset. Now, some unique things about homestead, though. If you're in like a second marriage, and let's say you own the home and you get married, if you died with a will and you're thinking that you have a will that leaves everything to your children, your spouse has some homestead rights. So your spouse can live there for life, or they can choose to sell. Most people don't know this one because it's a fairly new part of the statute. Or they can choose to sell the homestead and take half the proceeds.
Wow.
So you have a $500,000 home and you got a will or an old trust that leave it to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You got married without a premarital agreement. Your spouse could sell that and take half the proceeds.
Wow.
Or they could choose to live there for life.
Wow. And that, you see that situation play out. What about, Hollywood loves to talk about the prenuptial agreement and the postnuptial.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those while we're on the topic.
Well, that's what you do. You have a premarital agreement before you get married, and basically that homestead right is waived in a legal document. And if you are just hearing this and hadn't thought about that, or think your spouse said, well, I would never do that, well, guess what? I've seen many spouses that have a change of mind. And it's not always controlled by the spouse, because I've seen this happen a lot, actually. Say the husband dies, he owned the home. His wife lives for his wife is fairly incompetent, and someone else has her power of attorney. Well, guess who's calling the shots? It's the wife's children with the power of attorney.
Right.
And they have the power and right to file that election for the parent. The parent might not have cared. In fact, they might not even live there that much longer. They might be going to assisted living or something. They don't want to live there.
Wow.
They've got the right on that homestead to live there for life or sell it and take half the proceeds. So the power of attorney just exercises those rights.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's not always I would never do that. You want you to leave what you have to your children, and I'm going to leave, and I would never exercise any rights against your estate right. That's not the way it happens a lot of times.
It doesn't play out like that. Never say never, right?
Right.
Now, so you've had a couple interesting scenarios over your career. Again, over 52,000 estate plans that you completed, 35 years on air as a radio show host, many years, of course, practicing. You worked with a lotto winner at one point, you said.
Yeah, I actually represented 5 lotto winners in my career. Out of all of those documents, 5 of them were lotto winners. There were three $7 million winners, 138. Let's see, 3 7s, 138, and one $1 million winner.
Wow.
And that was the last one. The $1 million was a scratch off.
Wow.
I never even heard that you could make $1 million in a scratch off.
Holy cow. That is
the
a lot of money.
$38 million winner lived in a 1,000 square foot home with raising a grandchild, and had a sick mother on oxygen in about a 1,000 square foot house.
Wow.
I went to Tallahassee with them to collect the prize. The biggest thrill they had was they were anticipating the trip to Disney World for the weekend. That was their $38 million.
Wow, that's awesome.
At Disney World.
Man.
But, they were one of the couples that the $38 million didn't change their life too much. I mean, he got a big Ford 150, nice truck.
Yep.
They bought a home, maybe 2,500 square foot home.
Yep.
Just more 1,000 square foot. Maybe got their teeth fixed a little bit and have better clothes, but they really didn't change their life a heck of a lot, which is good to see.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too many people go over the top with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And is it better, depending on if you need the money or not, but it's typically better to take it in small payouts over time, right? Instead of the big lump sum.
Most people take the lump sum.
Yeah.
Just get all the taxes out of the way.
Yep.
And enjoy it while you can, because if you take a little bit, it might be a lot left on the table. That'll be in your estate.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice probate fee.
Yeah, exactly. That's an interesting probate.
But a lot of times the winners on the big winners will create a trust, because you can only have one winner. So the one winner is the trust.
Wow.
But then the trust will have multiple owners.
Ah, I see.
So you can spread out the wealth to a younger generation where you don't have to worry about the estate tax.
Yeah, long-term planning.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things in business,
things,
right? Long-term planning. And by the way, quick side note is I was watching one of the TV shows, and it was, one about greed, and it was the McMillions. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was, the scam that they ran. This one guy was somehow got his hands on the winning McMillions back in the day. Remember when McDonald's had that game plan?
Right.
Yeah, and it was this big thing about how he recruited all these different people to go in and take the prize, but then they had to pay him money, and just this whole weird kickback scheme that he had.
Well, there have been cases, too, where somebody was going through the middle of the divorce, had a winning lotto ticket, so they didn't tell anybody till after the divorce was over.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
But, that's, you have to disclose all of your assets in a divorce.
Yeah.
So when you don't disclose it and they find out later, oh, I just found that ticket. I didn't know I had it. I didn't know I was a winner, right?
Exactly. That one came up. Yeah, so they can retroactively go back and then pull what's theirs.
Well, that'd be a fraudulent inventory of during the divorce, basically.
Plus, you would probably face criminal charges, wouldn't you?
Well,
some kind of charge.
Probably not criminal, I don't think. I think you just it would be kind of fraud, but most of the time you just reallocate the assets.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, when that scenario plays out, brings out the worst in people as well. So
Michael Jackson had a living trust, but guess what? He forgot to put in his trust.
What's that?
His
beneficiary.
Ranch.
Oh, his ranch. Wow.
In California.
Wow, big one.
So he had an unfunded trust.
Wow. Yeah, some of these small things as well. You know, like making sure things are properly in there, following up, recording documents that are supposed to be recorded. I know there's some follow-up work that has to be done on those things.
People that write books, like both of us have, and you get future revenues from your books, or if you cut a record or something, you got it out there, and you get commissions and funds coming in. You can assign those to a trust.
Nice,
because that's a future asset coming in, but you can assign the future asset to the trust, so that doesn't go through probate as well.
I've heard of people assigning their vehicles to trust or things that they want to try to protect from creditors. Is that a valid strategy if you have debts that you didn't pay or didn't want to pay for some reason, assigning a personal property trust and putting everything in personal property trust?
Well, most people don't put cars and boats in a trust because if you create a husband and wife create a joint trust, you should own an automobile in a single name because they always sue the owners of the car. They sue the driver and the owners.
Yeah.
So if a husband and wife own most of their assets joint, you don't want to put the car in a joint trust along with all your other assets. So they sue the owner, which is one person. Let's say the husband is driving the car the most, so you put the car in his name and not in the trust. So you have one owner, and he's in an accident, and the one owner, one driver gets sued. They can't get to the joint trust.
Okay.
And if you have two cars, you put each car in the name of the primary owner.
Okay. So it's an individual trust then?
Yeah, but some people do put their automobile into a corporation, but they sue the driver. So, I mean, I don't see that's a big benefit. If they're going to sue the corporation, which is you own the corporation, maybe the only asset in the corporation is automobile.
Right.
But they're still going to sue you, the driver.
Right.
And the corporation. So
makes a lot of sense. Attorney Joe Pippen here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Now, a lot of these, you mentioned earlier, the healthcare surrogate was a document or POA for healthcare was a $150 document. I think a lot of times people think, oh, wow, this is expensive. I don't want to do that right now. I don't have the money.
We have flat fees though. So people ask me on the radio shows all the time, what do you charge for this or that? I can direct them to my website because we have flat fees. Like a will is $150.
Wow. That's very affordable.
Yeah. A power of attorney is $150. A living trust, now you're saving lots of money when you do a trust, but we have a package that includes the trust, the pour over will that goes with the trust, the power of attorney, healthcare, surrogate living will, and the deed of their residence into the trust. It's $795 for a single person and $895 for a married couple.
Wow.
So
very
you're saving
affordable.
thousands of dollars in probate costs if you do this, though.
Right. Yeah, that's something you need to do. Text estate planning to our hotline, 813-670-7372. Just pull out your smartphone, shoot us a quick text or a call, 813-670-7372, and we'll be right back. We got Attorney Joe Pippen in the house. Also coming up, our feel-good story of the day, students' act of kindness for their math teacher gets the Yankees' attention. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Dancing with the Stars.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill, but actually it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah.
Woo!
to be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your super connector, we want to introduce you to our 50+ show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This segment's brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. They personally moved my family to our new lake house, and real excited about the quality of service that was provided. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Whether you're planning a local or long-distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving and let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you. And we are back here in studio. Our goal is to help you win as a consumer advocate, also a top real estate team in the area. Got a couple of hot properties here available here in Tampa Bay. We've got 4207 South Del Mabry Highway. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, unit number 1203, right here in South Tampa at Grand Key Condominium Association, right here in Tampa Bay. Got a pool on site, beautiful community pool, and beautiful buildings here in a great neighborhood. 4207 South Del Mabry Highway. Unit number 1203. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a high school math teacher in New Jersey will be attending the New York Yankees season opener thanks to his students. Seniors at Ramapo High School pitched in to send Mr. Barber and his family to a New York Yankees game after he injured himself while with his daughter who has cerebral palsy. Little did they know the Yankees would take notice and give the teacher and his family their own an offer of their own. TikTok video with New York Yankees Aaron Boone. So they went and had Aaron Boone reach out to him, and it looks like he's going to the Yankees game. So pretty cool story of the Yankees getting attention with the students' act of kindness. You never know where that act of kindness is going to take you. So we got attorney Joe Pippen in studio. I was going to play a clip here. We talked a little bit about before the show, kind of marketing, a little bit of marketing. So I've got a clip. I do a lot of following of Tony Robbins. I've been to his business mastery course in Namale, Fiji, and I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk's video content on his video blog. So I'm going to play a quick clip from a third party here. Hang on.
I will recommend every person who's listening to spend 100 hours making pictures and videos and written words and spending the money on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, because I believe the ability to understand this now is the number one most important skill set in business.
So of course he's in the New York market, and he has a media company that sells that. But he's saying that, creating content, spending lots of time creating videos, pictures, written word is creating, and it's the number one most important thing that you can do in business for, in a perspective of marketing is the context of that. What's your
content? Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Creating content. Yeah.
I have WeBeam TV come into my radio show every Saturday morning that I'm in Tampa every other week, and they film the show for their channel.
Yep.
But what I do is I take my flash drive home, and then I separate out the good questions that I think I help people the most, like in estate planning, and the questions that are very educational for the audience. And I individualize the questions.
Yeah.
And then I'll individually post a question, it's shorter, so you're going to get more attention to a 2 or 3 minute question and answer thing.
Exactly.
And so we post those all week.
Yeah,
on various places, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you have
exactly
video content every day.
That's right,
going somewhere.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's the key. That's the strategy. That's what we've been doing for years too, growing the show, growing the celebrity through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, you name it, all those different sites, and that's what we give an opportunity for business owners to come on our show.
Well, you're helping a lot of people too, though.
Exactly.
I'd say 95% of the people listening to my show are not going to become a client for one reason or another. They already have an own attorney, but I've had many attorneys thank me. So my client heard you on the radio, and they came in to do this or that, which you talked about.
Yeah.
So I get praise from other attorneys for giving that education because it helps. The person goes to see their attorney. I don't ever try to pull clients away from their own attorney that they like or anything. I'm just, in fact, I do very little advertising.
Yeah.
On the show, the very closest I come to advertising is offering that free estate planning poster sheet. That's about it.
Yeah, that's right. And you and I both do public speaking events, and you had mentioned you've got different churches you're speaking at or different groups. I just went to Podfest this past week and spoke to a real estate group there at Podfest, which is it's grown significantly over the years. Chris has grown that. He used to run TBBO, but now he's running the Florida Podcasters. But yeah, you look for groups, you look for niches, you look for ways to get out in front of people. And then of course, anytime you can add video to it and add that, that aspect is going to exponentially help you create that content.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a word on marketing from attorney Joe Pippen here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I know that's kind of an area where people don't understand from a perspective with attorneys. You guys are very heavily scrutinized on what you can and cannot do when it comes to marketing and advertising, right?
Yeah, most ads have to be approved.
Wow.
By the Florida bar.
Wow. Yeah, so
they've never. A lot of financial planners who have to follow strict rules, they can't do radio shows without the content being approved first.
Right.
Now I don't know how you do that, and have a good show.
Yeah, exactly. It's a challenge, right?
But compliance issues and if you hear a financial planner that just comes in every week and you hear him selling stuff or something like that, he's not in compliance or doesn't have the license that requires the compliance.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that. And the financial advising sector, that's one of the areas that really needs more oversight. They pick on us in real estate and mortgage over a couple of points here and there. But a lot of these financial advisors, they are, so-called wealth advisors. They're not a fiduciary. Can you explain, why it's important to work with a fiduciary, Joe?
Well, they have their customers, their client, and they're responsible to their customer.
Yeah.
And they're not, of course, they're there to make money, but they have more compliance issues as a fiduciary to do things right, and they are subject to audit all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I've been in the financial planner's office meeting with their clients, and an auditor knocks on the door at 9 o'clock. They're all day looking at their records and stuff. So,
wow,
compliance issues for the good financial planners are there, and they should be.
Yeah, because it's one of the only industries where you can pay. Tony Robbins in his book Money Master the Game, he gives an example of something like for the same Honda Accord, for example, if you're buying a Honda Accord, and it gets into the compounding of fees, and a lot of the fees aren't properly disclosed, and they're kind of hidden, and they're the non-fiduciary wealth advisor is going to sell a certain product that he's going to make more money on versus what the client would benefit more from with less fees, less cost, et cetera, and especially when you compound them. So the example is like buying a $30,000 Honda Accord or paying $300,000 for that same Honda Accord because of the compounding effect that you see in points and fees. So that's the challenge that you look at. So you want to make sure you're working with a fiduciary, someone that's going to have your best interest in mind. And we've got attorney Joe Pippen in studio here longtime friend of the program, and estate planning attorney. And we want you to think about our show as the hub of your financial, your business, your health wheel. All those spokes extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners. We got 80 different show categories of consumer advocate advice and content here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, 50 plus show partners. And we've got one of the best in studio with us today for our one-on-one conversation about estate planning, probate avoidance, healthcare surrogates, homestead issues, different things that we've covered. So we got about a minute left, Joe. Anything you want to say in parting?
No, if you're thinking about estate planning, don't think about it too much longer and hop on and get it done, because, tomorrow might not come. And there's no reason to put it off, I like to tell clients. It's not going to get cheaper. It's not going to get easier to understand. And there's no reason to put it off. It's just something you have great peace of mind when you get your estate plan in order and done.
That's the payoff, right?
The payoff is the peace of mind.
Peace of mind, knowing that your kids are going to be taken care of, your family members, your, all the different folks that are kind of, in that position of your family hierarchy. They're going to be taken care of in a better position. So, I want to thank Attorney Joe Pippen.
All right, thank you.
Thanks
My
for
radio
coming
show
in.
is Saturday morning, 8 o'clock on 570, 910, 860, 930. Multiple stations are around Florida, also carried in different locations. So listen in and ask me questions sometimes.
And email them directly, Joe at ATT, kind of short for attorney, ATTYPIP.com, Joe at ATTYPIP.com. You can reach him there, or just reach out to the show. We'll get you in contact with Joe. And we always end our show by saying we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Simply pack up some food, hand it to that person that you see in need, volunteer, do something kind for one another, and have a wonderful day out there. And also, you could potentially swing a hammer for Habitat for Humanity. Lots of ways you can donate time and effort and energy to be a force for good in the community. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page out there, of course, and link up on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with you. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.